Jack Morrison stared out the viewport at the glittering expanse of Station Harmony. Even after 3 months, the sight still took his breath away. Countless stars surrounded the massive space station, home to the Galactic Academy of Cultural Studies. Jack often found himself here between classes, thinking about how far he was from his family's farm in Ohio. "There you are," a familiar voice called. "I've been looking all over for you." Jack turned to see Samantha Wells walking toward him. Sam's curly brown hair floated slightly in the station's lower gravity section. Like Jack, she wore the blue uniform of a first-year human student. "Just thinking about home," Jack said with a small smile. Sam nodded and leaned against the railing beside him. "Miss the cornfields?" "And Max," Jack added, thinking of his golden retriever. "He probably thinks I abandoned him." Around them, various alien students moved through the corridor. A group of Malorians, tall, thin beings with translucent skin, glided past, giving the humans a wide berth. A floating jellyfish-like creature Jack recognized as his roommate Zixtal hovered near an information terminal. "They're still afraid of us," Sam said quietly. Jack nodded. It was a strange feeling being feared. On Earth, Jack had been an ordinary guy, average height, average build, with sandy blonde hair and a face his mom called pleasantly forgettable. But here at the Academy, he was a Deathworlder, a creature from a planet considered so dangerous that most galactic species couldn't even visit without special protection suits. "Zixtal still sleeps with an emergency breather beside his sleeping pool," Jack said. "In case I somehow break the air filters and flood our room with oxygen," Sam laughed. My roommate asked if humans really drink water. Actual H2O, she thought. It was just a scary story. Their conversation was interrupted by a soft chime from their communication devices. Jack tapped his wrist unit and a small holographic message appeared. "Professor Klyainax wants to see all Earth students," he read. "Something about the upcoming Cultural Exchange Festival." Sam's eyes lit up. "Finally! I've been dying to learn about alien culture beyond humans are terrifying." They made their way through the winding corridors of the Academy. The station was designed to accommodate hundreds of different species, with varying gravity needs, atmospheric requirements, and size differences. The human section was located in what aliens called the high-density zone, areas with stronger gravity and Earth-like atmosphere. 10 other humans were already gathered when Jack and Sam arrived at Professor Klyainax's classroom. Some Jack knew. Well, like Olivia Harris, who always wore her blonde hair in a tight bun, and Kevin Wright, whose dark skin contrasted with the white streak in his hair. A fashion choice that fascinated the alien students. Professor Klyainax entered the room. On her 4 back legs, her insect-like body moving with surprising grace. Her front limbs held a datapad, and her large compound eyes reflected the light in a rainbow of colors. "Thank you all for coming," she said, her translator converting her clicking sounds into English. "As you know, the Cultural Exchange Festival is approaching. This year's theme is Companion Species Across Galactic Civilizations." Jack exchanged a glance with Sam. This sounded interesting. "Each student group will present information about domesticated or companion species from their homeworld," Klyainax continued. "The Academy believes this will foster greater understanding between different civilizations." Olivia raised her hand. "Professor, what exactly do you mean by companion species?" Klyainax's antennae twitched slightly. "Species that live alongside yours in a mutually beneficial relationship. Not for food or labor, but for companionship or symbolic value." "You mean pets," Kevin said bluntly. The professor's translator took a moment to process this. "Yes, I believe that is your Earth term. The creatures you allow to live in your dwellings." Ripple of excitement passed through the human students. Jack couldn't help but smile, thinking about Max again. "Will we be allowed to bring actual animals from Earth?" Sam asked. "The Academy has approved limited transport of properly contained and non-dangerous companion species," Klyainax answered. "Your Earth embassy has already arranged the necessary quarantine and safety protocols." After the meeting ended, the humans gathered in their common room to discuss the project. The room was one of the few places on the station designed to look like Earth, with plants, comfortable furniture, and windows programmed to show Earth landscapes. They have no idea what they're asking for, Kevin said, laughing as he dropped onto a couch. Most alien pets are like bacteria or tiny insects? Olivia nodded excitedly. Klyanak showed me pictures of her people's companions once. They look like little glowing butterflies that help with pollination. They're smaller than my pinky nail. Jack sat down and pulled up images of Max on his tablet. The golden retrievers. Friendly face filled the screen, tongue lolling out in a happy dog smile. I can't wait to bring Max here. He'll go crazy with all the new smells. My cat Whiskers would love to explore the station, Sam added. Though she might try to hunt some of the smaller alien species. They spent hours planning their presentation, messaging their families back on Earth about sending their pets on the next transport ship. None of the humans could contain their excitement about showing off their beloved animals. What they didn't realize was how their alien classmates were imagining human pets. Rumors spread through the academy about what terrifying creatures Deathworlders might keep as companions. Some imagined microscopic organisms. Others thought perhaps humans kept dangerous plants or minerals as symbolic totems. No one guessed the truth. The next morning, Jack found Zixtal hovering anxiously by their room's food dispenser. I heard about your cultural presentation, the jellyfish-like alien said, his translator conveying a nervous tone. Will you really bring a Earth creature to the station? Yep, my dog Max, Jack replied cheerfully. You'll love him, dog? Zixtal's translucent body pulsed with concern. I have studied Earth fauna. Dogs are predatory pack hunters with sharp teeth and powerful jaws, Jack laughed. Max wouldn't hurt a fly. He's the friendliest creature you'll ever meet. Zixtal drifted backwards slightly. You keep predators as companions? Voluntarily, of course. Humans have lived with dogs for thousands of years. They're part of our families. The alien's body changed colors rapidly, a sign of distress Jack had learned to recognize. Fascinating, Zixtal managed to say. Though he didn't sound fascinated, he sounded terrified. Jack smiled to himself as he prepared for class. The cultural exchange festival was going to be more interesting than anyone at the Galactic Academy could possibly imagine. The next 3 weeks passed quickly as the human students prepared for the cultural exchange festival. Jack checked his messages daily for updates about Max's journey to Station Harmony. Earth's embassy had arranged special transport for the pets, complete with human handlers to ensure their safety and comfort during the trip. My parents just confirmed Max passed the health checks, Jack told Sam as they sat in the academy's dining hall. They had chosen a corner table away from most alien students, who still found the sight of humans eating solid food disturbing. Sam smiled, pushing her food around with a fork. Whiskers, too. They're scheduled to arrive 2 days before the festival. That gives us time to help them adjust to space station life. I still can't believe the Academy approved this, Kevin said, joining them with his tray. When I told my snake was coming, Professor Klyanak nearly molted her exoskeleton from shock. Olivia laughed as she sat down. My parrot Charlie is already on his way. The transport officer said he's the first talking Earth animal to visit the station. Jack looked around the dining hall. Several alien students were watching their table with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. News about the humans' plans had spread throughout the academy, creating a buzz of excitement and fear. They're all talking about us, Jack said quietly. Let them talk, Kevin replied with a shrug. They've been treating us like dangerous monsters since we arrived. Maybe seeing us with our pets will help them understand us better. Later that day, Jack attended his comparative biology class. The subject was usually interesting, but today he found it hard to focus. The professor, a tall plant-like being named Dr. Floem, was discussing adaptation to hostile environments. Earth species have developed remarkable defenses against their planet's extreme conditions, Dr. Floem said, gesturing to a holographic display of Earth animals. Take these common house cats, for instance. They possess razor-sharp retractable claws, exceptional night vision, and lightning-fast reflexes. Jack noticed how the alien students leaned away from the image, even though it was just a hologram of a tabby cat washing its face. Is it true humans keep these predators in their sleeping quarters? Asked a small mouse-like student from the back row. Before Jack could answer, Dr. Floan nodded. Indeed, humans have domesticated several predator species. We will learn more about this unusual practice during the Cultural Exchange Festival. After class, Jack returned to his room to find Zixtal hovering nervously near the ceiling, his translucent body pulsing with blue light. I heard your Earth Beast will arrive. Soon, Zixtal said, drifting slightly lower. Jack nodded as he sat on his bed. Max gets here in 5 days. Don't worry, you'll like him. I have been researching these dogs, Zixtal replied. They are descended from wolves, pack hunters that can bring down prey many times their size. That was thousands of years ago, Jack explained patiently. Dogs have been living with humans for so long they've changed. They're loyal, friendly, and loving. Zixtal's tentacles curled inward. Your species took apex predators and made them friendly? How is this possible? Jack thought about how to explain. We didn't force them. It was a partnership that developed over time. Wolves that were less afraid of humans got access to food? Humans who accepted wolves got protection and help with hunting. Eventually they became companions. Fascinating, Zixtal said, though he remained near the ceiling. On my world, we would never approach predators. We protect ourselves with distance and camouflage. Different survival strategies, Jack said with a smile. Earth has always been dangerous. Humans learned to make alliances where we could, even with other species. The days passed quickly. Jack and the other human students attended their classes, but much of their free time was spent preparing for the festival. They converted part of the human section into a temporary animal habitat, with areas for dogs, cats, and other pets. The Academy engineers helped adjust the gravity and air circulation to keep the animals comfortable. Sam worked on educational materials, creating simple holographic displays about each Earth animal. Kevin designed a safety protocol for handling the pets, and Olivia prepared a presentation about how animals had shaped human development. 2 days before the festival, Jack received an alert on his communication device. The transport has arrived. All Earth students with companion animals. Please report to Docking Bay 7. His heart racing with excitement, Jack hurried through the station corridors. He met Sam along the way, and they practically ran the last stretch to the docking bay. The docking bay was sealed behind special quarantine fields. Through the transparent barrier, Jack could see Earth Embassy staff in their blue uniforms unloading large transport containers. They're here, Sam whispered, pressing her hand against the barrier. After what seemed like hours of waiting, the quarantine officers completed their final checks and allowed the human students to enter. Jack scanned the containers anxiously until he spotted one marked Morrison, K9. A staff member approached with a smile. You must be Jack. Someone's very excited to see you. She opened the container, and a golden blur burst out. Max, his golden retriever, bounded toward Jack with his tail wagging wildly. Jack dropped to his knees as Max reached him, nearly knocked over by 80 pounds of excited dog. Hey, buddy. I missed you too. Jack laughed as Max licked his face, the dog's whole body wiggling with happiness. Around him, similar reunions were happening. Sam cradled Whiskers in her arms, the orange tabby cat purring loudly. Kevin carefully lifted his ball python from its climate-controlled case. Olivia's parrot Charlie was already perched on her shoulder, looking around with bright, curious eyes. Hello, hello. Space station. The parrot squawked, causing nearby quarantine officers to jump in surprise. Jack looked up to see a small crowd gathering at the quarantine barrier. Alien students and faculty pressed against the transparent field, watching the humans and their animals with expressions ranging from horror to fascination. Professor Klyanak stood at the front, her compound eyes fixed on Max. Are these creatures truly safe? She asked, her voice translated through the barrier's communication system. Jack stood up, one hand resting on Max's head. Completely safe, Professor. They're trained and friendly. Max chose that moment to bark happily, causing several alien observers to flinch back from the barrier. Jack couldn't help but smile. The Cultural Exchange Festival was going to be even more interesting than he had imagined. As they led their pets to the prepared habitat in the human section, Jack noticed Zixtel floating near the corridor junction, keeping a safe distance but watching intently. "That's Max," Jack called out. "Max, that's my roommate." Max looked up at the floating jellyfish being, his tail wagging curiously. Zixtel pulsed with nervous light but didn't flee. It was a start. The day of the Cultural Exchange Festival arrived. The main exhibition hall of Station Harmony had been transformed into a showcase of galactic diversity. Each species had their own section to display their companion animals and explain their cultural significance. Jack woke early, feeling both excited and nervous. Max lay at the foot of his bed, tail thumping against the mattress when he saw Jack was awake. "Today's the big day, buddy," Jack said. Reaching down to scratch behind Max's ears, after a quick breakfast, Jack met the other human students in their preparation area. Sam was brushing Whiskers, who purred contentedly in her lap. Kevin had his ball python draped around his shoulders, the snake's scales gleaming under the lights. Olivia was teaching Charlie the parrot a new phrase for the presentation. "Is everyone ready?" Sam asked, looking up from her cat. Jack nodded, attaching Max's leash. "As ready as we'll ever be. Max had a good walk this morning and plenty of play. Time he should be on his best behavior." Kevin adjusted his snake slightly. "Just remember, we're not just showing off our pets. We're representing Earth and humanity. This is our chance to help them understand us better." Olivia nodded as Charlie bobbed his colorful head up and down too. "Let's show them that Deathworlders aren't just about survival, we're about connection." At exactly noon station time, the festival officially began. The exhibition hall filled with students and faculty from across the galaxy. Jack peeked out from the human preparation area and was amazed by the variety of displays. The Arcturians had created a beautiful crystal garden where tiny, singing mineral formations grew in patterns. The methane-breathing Tau Ceti delegation showcased microscopic glowing bacteria that formed complex patterns in special containment bubbles. The plant-like Florians had brought miniature floating spores that changed colors based on nearby emotions. "Most of these companion species are tiny," Sam whispered, looking over Jack's shoulder. "None of them are actual animals like ours," Jack nodded. "I guess that makes sense. Earth is one of the few planets with complex animal life that isn't sentient." At 1 p.m., the human presentation was scheduled to begin. A small crowd had already gathered around their empty display area, curious about what the Deathworlders would present. Professor Klyanak stood nearby with a datapad, her insect-like form perfectly still except for her twitching antennae. "Humans, you may begin your presentation when ready," she announced through her translator. Jack took a deep breath and led the way, with Max walking obediently beside him. The other humans followed with their pets. As they entered the display area, a wave of reactions swept through the alien audience. Some moved back quickly, others froze in place, and a few made high-pitched sounds of alarm. "Greetings, everyone," Jack said, trying to keep his voice calm and friendly. "We are pleased to present some of Earth's companion animals. These creatures have lived alongside humans for thousands of years." Max sat beside Jack, looking around with friendly interest at the strange beings. Whiskers perched regally on Sam's shoulder, tail swishing occasionally. Kevin's snake remained draped around his neck, tongue flicking out to taste the air. Charlie the parrot suddenly called out, "Hello, space friends," causing several alien students to jerk back in surprise. "Did that creature just speak?" asked a tall, thin alien with glowing skin. Olivia nodded. "This is Charlie, an African gray parrot. Some Earth birds can mimic human speech. Charlie knows about 50 words and phrases." "Fascinating," Professor Klyanak said, moving slightly closer, but still keeping a safe distance. "And these other creatures? They appear to be predators." Jack nodded. "This is Max, a golden retriever dog." Dogs were among the first animals humans domesticated, about 15,000 years ago. They started as wolves, but over time they evolved to be our companions and helpers. A small floating alien that resembled a blue cloud drifted closer. "It has sharp teeth?" Is it not dangerous? Max is trained and friendly, Jack explained. He would never hurt anyone unless I was in danger. Dogs are loyal and protective of their human families. To demonstrate, Jack asked Max to sit, lie down, and offer his paw. The golden retriever performed each command perfectly, his tail wagging happily. A few brave alien students inched closer, fascinated by the display. Sam stepped forward with Whiskers. This is a domestic cat. Cats have lived with humans for nearly 10,000 years. They originally helped us by hunting small pests around our food storage, but now they're mainly companions. As if on cue, Whiskers yawned, showing her sharp teeth. Several aliens moved back again. You keep predators in your homes? Asked a plant-like student, leaves quivering. With your young? With your elders? Kevin nodded. Most Earth homes have at least one pet. Some have several. They're part of our families. The exhibition continued with each human explaining their pet's characteristics, care requirements, and the history of their domestication. Slowly, the initial shock among the alien audience began to transform into cautious curiosity. A particularly brave Malorian student approached Jack. May I touch it? He asked, transparent hand trembling slightly as he pointed to Max. Jack smiled encouragingly. Of course. Max loves meeting new friends. Hold your hand out slowly, palm down, and let him sniff you first. The Malorian followed Jack's instructions. Max sniffed the alien's hand curiously, then licked it. The Malorian jerked back in surprise, then laughed, a musical sound like chimes. It doesn't hurt, he said, sounding amazed. It's warm. Other alien students, seeing this interaction, began to gather courage. One by one, they approached the various Earth animals. Sam showed how to properly pet a cat, explaining why Whiskers purred. Kevin explained how his snake felt smooth, not slimy, and allowed brave students to touch its scales. Charlie the parrot delighted everyone by mimicking the various translator sounds. Professor Kleinnax observed it all, taking notes on her datapad. Most fascinating, she said eventually. Your species forms bonds with predators, prey, and non-mammals alike. This suggests a remarkable adaptive capacity. Humans have always been good at making friends, Jack said with a smile, patting Max's head. It's how we survived on Earth. We couldn't outrun most predators or overpower them with our natural abilities. But we could form partnerships. As the day progressed, the human display became one of the most popular at the festival. Alien students who had previously avoided humans in the corridors now crowded around, asking questions and requesting to interact with the Earth animals. Jack noticed his roommate Zixtal hovering at the edge of the crowd. Keeping distance but watching intently, Jack waved him over. Would you like to meet Max properly? Jack asked. Zixtal's translucent body pulsed with nervous light. Is it truly safe? I promise, Jack said. Max is a good boy. Slowly, tentatively, Zixtal floated closer. Max looked up at the jellyfish-like alien with friendly interest, his tail wagging gently. He likes you, Jack said encouragingly. Zixtal extended one delicate tentacle. Max sniffed it gently, then licked it. Zixtal's body flashed with surprised colors, but he didn't pull away. It's not what I expected, Zixtal said softly. Perhaps there is much about Deathworlders I do not understand, Jack smiled. The Cultural Exchange Festival was turning out even better than he had hoped. The week after the Cultural Exchange Festival brought unexpected changes to life at the Galactic Academy. Jack noticed it first in his morning classes. Alien students who had previously kept their distance now sat closer to him. Some even greeted him in the corridors with translator-assisted hellos. Something's different, Jack told Sam as they walked to lunch. Max trotted happily beside them, his leash loose in Jack's hand. After the success of the festival, the Academy had granted special permission for the Earth pets to remain on the station for the rest of the semester. Sam nodded, with Whiskers riding comfortably on her shoulder. I know. 3 different species asked if they could study with me yesterday. Before the festival, they wouldn't even make eye contact. They entered the dining hall to find Kevin already seated at a table. Surprisingly, he wasn't alone. 2 Malorians and a small, furry alien Jack recognized as a Voltan sat with him, watching with fascination as his snake basked under a heat lamp on the table. The snake stays in a special heated container at night, Kevin was explaining. Ball pythons are cold-blooded, so they need external heat to regulate their body temperature. Fascinating adaptation, said one of the Malorians. On our world, all life forms generate internal heat through bioluminescence. Kevin looked up and waved Jack and Sam over. Hey, join us. We're having an impromptu biology lesson? As they sat down, the Voltan leaned forward, large eyes blinking rapidly. Is it true that your canine can detect illness in humans? Our professor mentioned this capability, Jack smiled, patting Max's head. Some dogs can. They're trained to smell certain changes in body chemistry. Max isn't a medical dog, but all dogs have amazing noses. They can smell things we can't even imagine. Your species has enhanced your own limited senses by partnering with these animals, the Voltan said thoughtfully. Most impressive. Later that afternoon, Professor Klyainax requested all human students attend a special meeting. They gathered in her classroom, pets in tow, curious about the purpose. Klyainax's compound eyes reflected the light as she addressed them. Your presentation at the Cultural Exchange Festival has generated significant interest. The Academy Board has approved my proposal for a new course, Interspecies Cooperation, the Earth Model. I would like you all to participate as teaching assistants. Olivia raised her hand. You want us to teach about our pets? Not just about your companion animals. Klyainax explained, her antennae moving excitedly. About how your species forms partnerships with other life forms. This appears to be a unique Earth adaptation. Most galactic species evolved either to hide from predators or to be the apex predator. Your world produced a species that domesticated both predator and prey. Jack looked at Max, who had fallen asleep at his feet. We never thought of it as special. It's just part of being human. That is precisely why it is worth studying, Klyainax said. What comes naturally to you may help. Other species develop new approaches to coexistence. The new course quickly became the most popular at the Academy. 3 times a week, the lecture hall filled with students from dozens of worlds. The humans took turns explaining different aspects of Earth's animal partnerships, from hunting with falcons to therapy animals that help people with emotional needs. Jack enjoyed these sessions, but he found the one-on-one interactions even more rewarding. After demonstrations, alien students would approach with questions, gradually becoming comfortable around the Earth animals. One evening, Jack returned to his room to find an unexpected sight. Zixtal was not hovering near the ceiling as usual. Instead, the jellyfish-like alien floated just a few feet above the floor, watching Max, who lay on his bed. We have been communicating, Zixtal said when he noticed Jack. You and Max? Jack asked, surprised. Zixtal's body pulsed with soft blue light. I produce light patterns. He responds with body movements. It is primitive but effective. Jack watched as Zixtal created a sequence of blue and yellow pulses. Max's tail wagged in response and the dog rolled over, showing his belly. He wants you to notice his vulnerable area, Jack explained. It's a sign of trust. Trust, Zixtal repeated, the translator giving the word a thoughtful tone. My species rarely displays vulnerability. We protect ourselves through distance and illusion. Different survival strategies, Jack said, sitting on his bed and scratching Max's belly. Earth shaped us to be adaptable. I have been considering this, Zixtal said. Perhaps my people have limited ourselves by avoiding connection with other species. 2 days later, Jack arrived at Professor Klyainax's lecture to find the room buzzing with excitement. The professor waved him over as soon as he entered. Your roommate has made an unprecedented request, she said, antennae twitching rapidly. Zixtal wishes to establish a cultural exchange program with Earth. With Earth? Jack repeated, surprised. Zixtal's people, the Lumina, were known for their isolation. Their homeworld had only joined the Galactic Federation 50 years ago, and they rarely ventured beyond their own star system. Klyainax nodded. He proposes sending Lumina scholars to study Earth's interspecies relationships directly. In exchange, Earth scientists would be welcome on the Lumina homeworld to study bioluminescent communication. Jack was stunned. That's amazing. Did Max help cause this? It appears your companion animal has served as an unexpected diplomat, Kleinak said, a clicking sound that Jack had learned was her version of laughter coming from her translator. Word of Zixtal's proposal spread quickly. That evening, the humans organized an impromptu celebration in their common room. Alien students who had taken the new course joined them, creating a lively gathering of diverse species. Olivia's parrot Charlie flew from shoulder to shoulder, delighting everyone with his mimicry. Kevin's snake attracted a group of fascinated Tau Ceti students who had never seen a reptile before. Sam's cat Whiskers permitted select aliens to pet her, a privilege she bestowed regally. Jack found Zixtal near the food table, watching the festivities. I heard about your proposal, Jack said. It's incredible. Thank you. Zixtal's body shimmered with patterns Jack had learned to recognize as pleasure. I have been wrong about many things. My people have been wrong. We thought safety came from isolation, but your species shows that true strength comes from connection. Max helped you see that, Jack said, looking across the room where the golden retriever was gently playing with a small Voltan child. The animal was the beginning, Zixtal admitted. But you are the teacher, Jack. You showed me that different worlds can find common ground. The celebration continued late into the night. Professor Kleinak joined them, along with several other faculty members. The academy director, a tall crystalline being rarely seen by students, made a brief appearance to commend the humans on their contribution to galactic understanding. As Jack watched Max making friends with species from across the galaxy, he felt a swell of pride. When he had been selected for the academy program, he had worried about representing Earth well. He never imagined his dog would become an ambassador for humanity. You know what's funny? Sam said, appearing beside him with Whiskers in her arms. We came here thinking we needed to prove that humans aren't just dangerous Deathworlders. Jack nodded. And it turns out the thing that convinced them was the fact that we share our homes with other Deathworld species. Earth logic, Sam said with a laugh. Why fight when you can become friends instead? As the party began to wind down, Jack watched Zixtal carefully extend a tentacle to stroke Max's head. The golden retriever leaned into the touch, completely comfortable with the alien. Sometimes, Jack thought, the best diplomats had 4 legs and a wagging tail. 3 months after the Cultural Exchange Festival, Station Harmony buzzed with end-of-semester activities. The human section had become one of the most visited areas of the academy, with students from across the galaxy stopping by to interact. With the Earth pets, Jack sat in the station's observation deck, watching distant stars through the massive viewport. Max lay beside him, head resting on his paws. Tomorrow, the first semester would officially end. Many students would return to their homeworlds for the break period. There you are, Sam said, walking up with Whiskers in her arms. I've been looking everywhere. Jack smiled as she sat beside him. Just thinking about everything that's happened. It's been quite a semester. That's an understatement, Sam replied, letting Whiskers jump down to greet Max. The cat and dog touched noses briefly. Now comfortable friends after months of living together on the station, Jack nodded toward a group of alien students sitting nearby. They were watching a holographic display about Earth, pointing excitedly at images of forests, oceans, and mountains. 6 of them have applied to visit Earth during the break, Sam said, following Jack's gaze. The Earth Embassy is arranging special environmental suits and guided tours. They want to see where our pets come from. And 10 Earth scientists have been invited to the Lumina homeworld, Jack added. All because of Zixtal and Max becoming friends. Their conversation was interrupted by a soft chime from their communication devices. A message from Professor Kleinak requested all human students to gather in the main lecture hall. Wonder what this is about, Jack said as they collected their pets and headed down the corridor. When they arrived, they found the other human students already seated in the front row. Professor Kleinak stood on the raised platform along with the academy director and several other high-ranking faculty members. Thank you for coming, Clinax said as Jack and Sam took their seats. The Academy Board has an important announcement. The director stepped forward. The tall crystalline being glowed softly in shades of blue and green. When he spoke, his translator conveyed a formal, dignified tone. When the human delegation joined our academy, many had concerns. Earth is classified as a death world, and its inhabitants have a reputation for being dangerous and unpredictable. Some feared that bringing humans to Station Harmony would disrupt our peaceful community. Jack exchanged glances with Sam. This wasn't starting well. These concerns, the director continued, have proven to be entirely unfounded. Through the Cultural Exchange Festival and the subsequent educational initiatives, the human students have not only integrated successfully but have enriched our community with new perspectives. A ripple of agreement moved through the assembled faculty. Therefore, the Academy Board has unanimously approved 2 new programs. First, the human enrollment will be doubled next semester. Second, we are establishing an Earth Studies department, focusing on interspecies cooperation and adaptive strategies. The human students broke into surprised applause. Jack felt a surge of pride. What had started as a simple pet presentation had grown into something much bigger. Professor Clinax stepped forward again. We have also received an official communication from the Galactic Federation Council. Based on observations from the Academy's experience, they are reconsidering Earth's classification as a death world. This announcement caused even more excitement. Earth's death world status had limited human participation in many galactic activities. While Earth remains objectively dangerous by galactic standards, Clinax explained, the Council recognizes that its inhabitants have developed unique cooperative strategies that merit special consideration. The proposed new classification is Adaptive World, acknowledging both the challenges of the environment and the remarkable adaptations of its species. After the meeting, the humans gathered in their common room to celebrate. The pets became the center of attention once again, with Max receiving extra treats and Whiskers enjoying premium scratches behind her ears. I can't believe our pets help change how the galaxy sees Earth, Olivia said, as her parrot Charlie bobbed happily on her shoulder. Kevin nodded, his snake draped comfortably around his arm. Who would have thought that bringing predators to class would make aliens like us more, not less? Jack was about to respond when the door opened and Zixtel floated in, accompanied by several other alien students. The jellyfish-like being pulsed with bright, happy colors. We came to say goodbye before the break, Zixtel said. And to thank you, a tall Malorian stepped forward. I have been accepted to the Earth Visit program. I will see your world with my own eyes. And I will study human-animal communication, added a small Voltan, her fur rippling with excitement. Perhaps my people can develop similar bonds with species on our world. The room filled with aliens and humans talking, sharing plans, and saying temporary farewells. Jack watched as Max moved comfortably among the diverse beings, accepting gentle pets from hands, tentacles, and appendages of all kinds. Later, as the gathering wound down, Jack found himself alone with Zixtal near the viewport. They watched the stars in comfortable silence for a moment. Will you return to Earth for the break? Zixtal asked. Jack nodded. Yes, Max and I are going home for a few weeks. My family can't wait to hear all about the Academy. I will miss our conversations, Zixtal said, his translator conveying a note of genuine emotion. And I will miss Max. We'll be back, Jack assured him. And next semester will be even better. More humans, more pets, more chances to learn from each other. Zixtal's body glowed softly. Before I met you and Max, I believe safety came from keeping distance from dangerous things. Now, I understand that sometimes the best protection is making friends with what you fear, Jack smiled. That's a very human way of thinking. Perhaps that is not a bad thing, Zixtal replied, on their final night before departure. Jack sat on his bed packing his belongings. Max lay beside him, occasionally nudging Jack's hand for pets. We did good, buddy, Jack said softly, scratching behind Max's ears. You did good. The golden retriever thumped his tail against the bed in happy agreement when Jack had been selected. For the Academy program, he had worried about how to represent humanity to the galaxy. He had prepared speeches about Earth culture, studied diplomatic protocols, and memorized scientific explanations about human biology. But in the end, it wasn't his words that had made the difference. It was the simple, powerful bond between a boy and his dog Dot as Jack looked around at his room. At the station that had become his second home, he felt a deep sense of satisfaction. Earth might still be considered dangerous by galactic standards. But now the aliens understood something important. Humans didn't just survive their dangerous world by being tough or aggressive. They survived by making connections, by forming bonds, by turning potential enemies into friends. And sometimes the most powerful diplomats had fur, wagging tails, and unconditional love to give. The next morning, as Jack and Max boarded the Earth transport shuttle, dozens of alien students came to see them off. Max barked a happy goodbye, no longer causing anyone to flinch in fear. "See you next semester," Jack called out, waving to his friends of all species. As the shuttle pulled away from Station Harmony, Jack looked down at Max, sitting contentedly by his side. "Just wait until they see what other pets humans have," he said with a smile. "Next semester, someone's bringing a horse." Max's tail wagged enthusiastically as if he completely understood the wonderful chaos that would cause.